Hello, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today I thought that I would share something about me in the hopes that you will comment below and be motivated to share something about you. Today's topic are 10 weird celebrity crushes I had growing up. Okay? I want to know your weird crushes down below. So tell me who you liked when you were growing up. The weird ones, okay? So this is not the Brad Pitts, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, whatever, Will Smith, Denzel. We know all of these people are good-looking people, so it's like, okay, these are the weird ones. And this is not to say that these people are unattractive, okay? This is, picture me as a middle schooler crushing on these people. That's the point. That's the point. Let's start with my biggest crush of middle school to high school, like the biggest. I watched all of his movies. Val Kilmer. He was my number one for a very, very long time. So I loved him in Top Secret, especially because he sang, and he sang really well in it. So really like that one. Real Genius, funny. I mean, everybody kind of liked him in that one, I think. Willow, ooh, Mad Mardigan with the long hair. Loved it. But my favorite Val Kilmer crush performance was Doc Holliday from Tombstone. Like, I can repeat this movie anytime, anywhere. I love it so much. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I might have to watch it again. But Val Kilmer in Tombstone as Doc Holliday, even with the hacking, so that was my jam in middle school. And I put Val last because it's not a super weird crush. It's just like the age difference was like, what? And as Doc Holliday when he's like hacking up along, and so that's why it's weird, not because he's unattractive. Because I think a lot of people thought he was very attractive back in the day. Another actor who was very, very out of my age range at the time, let's just stick with this. Let's just stick with Tombstone. I also had a massive crush on Michael Biehn in Tombstone. And so, but he was like the bad guy and the mean, like gross spit kind of, but his chemistry with Val was amazing. And so I think that's why I liked both of them. And then for Michael Biehn, I went back and watched the original Terminator, and he was very attractive then. And then I went back and watched Aliens, and he was good looking in that. So not super weird, but age inappropriate for sure. And then I also liked him in The Abyss, and he was a psychopath in that movie. What does that say about me? I don't know. This next one, again, I think he was attractive back in the day, but age weirdness, and it's just kind of like a, really? Okay, I forgot that guy kind of existed for a while. Emilio Estevez. Big old crush on Young Guns. There was a lot of good-looking fellas in that, but Emilio Estevez was my favorite, and he was also my favorite in Young Guns too. Even with Christian Slater in the picture, I was still Emilio Estevezing it up. And then my parents, or my dad, watched his comedy with Charlie Sheen called Men at Work, and I thought he was really cute and really funny in that. Oh, and the Mighty Ducks. Instead of crushing on any of the kids, I was crushing on the coach. This next person was kind of a geeky and grew into their looks, and then was considered a good-looking fella and was a lead in rom-coms. Ethan Embry. I loved him in Empire Records, his goofball persona. I loved it. And I also liked him in Dutch when he was even younger than that. It's not super weird, but I just liked him as the weirdo in the back. Like in That Thing You Do, he was just known as the drummer, or like that other guy. He didn't even have a name. So, yeah, and then he got big and he got into Can't Hardly Wait, and then he was a lead. So good for him. And he was a big one, especially in Empire Records. I don't know what it was about that slacker skater kind of vibe, but I really dug it. I'm trying to go in order of weirdness, but it's a little hard because like I said, none of these people are unattractive. It's just weird for a middle schooler to be liking some of these people, or they're like not the lead. They're not the ones you're supposed to like. They're kind of like the friend or the weird one. So here we are. Next up for me is Jeff Goldblum. And I don't mean current Jeff Goldblum. I mean like Earth Girls Are Easy Jeff Goldblum, and Independence Day, and Jurassic Park. I think it's the open chest, the open shirt chesticles that he likes to show off in so many different movies that I think did it. And I have actually never seen The Fly, so I couldn't speak to that one before the transformation. But yeah, I liked him in Independence Day, and Earth Girls Are Easy. It's a weird one. I don't know what my problem is. Next up, we have Tim Robbins. I crushed hard on Tim Robbins because of Shawshank Redemption. And then he started getting the rom-com leads like IQ and stuff like that. But so with Tim Robbins, I saw him in Shawshank Redemption, and that's where I started crushing on him. However, I also knew and liked him from Howard the Duck. Yes, that existed, and yes, Tim Robbins was in it. And yes, I had a crush on him in it. And then it was Jacob's Ladder, which is one of my creepiest movies of all time. Then I watched him in The Hudsucker Proxy, and then Shawshank Redemption, and then Ready to Wear. So it was like a weird kind of group of movies, but Shawshank was why. That was why I crushed on Tim Robbins. Andy Dufresne. Here's a not very controversial one. Matthew Lillard. I adored him in Scream, more so than Billy, Skeet Ulrich. The one-liners, the humor, and he was cute, but it was mainly the humor, and that got me for him. And I liked him in Hackers, even with the weird braids. I don't know. He was also in that movie Mad Love with Drew Barrymore and Chris O'Donnell, and I liked Matt Lillard more than I liked Chris O'Donnell, who was like the supposed leading man in it. He was the only reason why I saw Without a Paddle. He was the only reason why I saw 13 Ghosts. But yeah, the main one for him is Scream and Hackers, but Scream, Scream, Scream. All right, we're getting to the weirder ones, depending on your opinions. Gary Oldman. Again, I'm in middle school, and I'm watching Gary Oldman in Dracula. I'm watching him in Immortal Beloved, where he plays Beethoven, and I'm watching him in The Scarlet Letter, and I'm watching him in The Professional. None of those characters are like good guys. I will say though, he did have a stint of sexy period pieces. So maybe that was what it was, but he's a phenomenal actor. He looks different in everything. I even had a crush on him in Fifth Element, looking like this. It's just, he's so good at everything he does. So in acting sense, so I just, massive crush on him, even all of the bad characters that he played. And what I consider my weirdest crush when I was growing up, again, consider my age, consider the time period and the movies that came out around this time. In 1997, an action movie came out starring Nicolas Cage with long hair and a bad accent. And that movie was Con Air. And no, before you get started, I did not have a crush on Nicolas Cage. You stop that. You stop that right now. No. Instead, I had a crush on John Malkovich. He plays a psycho and everything. And he was definitely psycho in this, but I liked him in this movie, and I had a crush on him in this movie. So then I went back and I watched the other movies that he was a psychopath in, like Dangerous Liaisons. What's with the wig? I mean, I get it, time period, but what am I doing? And then he plays Jekyll and Hyde in Mary Riley, which was a terrible movie with Julia Roberts doing a terrible accent. But I like the Jekyll and Hyde story, but it was not a good movie. And he could be considered a psychopath in that, at least halfway so. I was mad watching In the Line of Fire because his character, spoiler alert from like the 90s, his character gets killed by Clint Eastwood, so I was pissed about that. He was a psychopath trying to kill the president, and I was crushing on him. I even had a crush on him in Of Mice and Men, in which he plays Lenny, the mentally handicapped person who crushes rabbits because he's so strong. Why? Why? That is not an appropriate crush. I even went to Blockbuster Video at the time and rented Making Mr. Right, in which he has this terrible bleach blonde wig, and he plays like a clone robot kind of thing where he's like created for this woman. I went deep, y'all. I think I might have said 10. So my honorable mention / 10 slot are the weird anthropomorphized animals in Disney cartoons, like Robin Hood or the Beast before he turns into a prince, because that prince was not it. But the Beast, he was kind of attractive in a weird, uncomfortable way. So now you know a little bit more about me and my weird crushes growing up. I want to know who your weird crushes were. And I don't mean the normal ones. I don't mean Brad Pitt. I don't mean Tom Cruise. I don't mean Princess Leia, because boys, I know, okay? I don't mean Pamela Anderson, because I know, okay? I'm talking about the ones that you might not have thought of, the ones that are like, that's weird for whatever reason, whether it be age, whether it be just the characters they tend to play, or, something like that. I want to know who your weird crushes growing up were. Let me know down below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, tap the notification bell, and maybe if I get enough interesting comments, I'll do like a reaction video to all your interesting crushes. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.